Hey, vinyl community, it's Doodah Dave coming at ya with another video. Summer Vinyl Tag 2024. Yes, this was put together by our good friend Dylan down at Noble Records. Thank you very much, Dylan. So let's get into it. First is a album that has summer in the title. So I picked Love and Spoonful. There's the cover, the back. And the song is Summer in the City. Yeah, it's a local favorite. I believe recorded in New York. John Sebastian, made famous in Woodstock, 1969. Of course, he was famously tripping. A lot of people at Woodstock were tripping. All right, so that's that. And number two is the latest Heavy Pull. I got this fairly recently. It's been, I wouldn't quite call it a grail, Roxy Music's Avalon. Post Brian Eno with Brian Ferry and McKay and all the great people in Roxy Music. Really nice, clean copy on EG Records, Warner. Terrific. More Than This, of course, and Avalon were the two big hits from this one. I like that a lot. Having fun with that. An album with an animal on it. So I thought I would pick this one. Now, this is not your normal animal. This is 1982, Run for the Roses, Jerry Garcia. This is kind of a Tyrannosaurus tiger, would you? Oh, I didn't think about tiger being his guitar and putting tiger on the dinosaur, a dinosaur with a tiger. I guess that would be Jerry with his guitar. Somebody was having fun. Victor Morosco, I think, did the cover, didn't he? Yeah. Great album, has a Beatles cover on here. I saw her standing there. Bob Dylan cover, of course, that Jerry was famous for. Knocking on Heaven's Door, and Valerie, which is my favorite song, which is great. So a nice copy of that. I'm not going to pull out all the records for this because we got a lot of records to get to. Okay, a record, a whack-a-mole. Number three is a whack-a-mole. So we're going to go over here and just pull a whack-a-mole. Ah, that's a good one. Pure Prairie League. This is a cool Pure Prairie League, 1972. It has Amy and Falling In and Out of Love, which was the big song from it. The singer and electric guitar player was Craig Lee Fuller, who later joined Little Feat after Lil George passed away. And it's a really good country rock album from 72. A Dynaflex. I know people in the vinyl community were talking about Dynaflex. So this is a Dynaflex on RCA. And you got kind of the Norman Rockwell cover there, which is not Norman Rockwell, but Norman Rockwell style. Bustin' Out for Prairie League for our whack-a-mole. A album with a story. So I picked Home Home on the Road by New Riders, The Purple Sage. Again, it's the days between right now. Jerry Garcia was born on August 1st, and he died on August 9th, which is tomorrow, so in the days between. He produced this album. This was a concert that I saw. We got concert pics on the back with Marmaduke and Dave Nelson and Spencer Dryden and Buddy Cage, Dave Torbert on bass. Just a great band, Marmaduke. Doing a lot of the writing, contemporary of Garcia's. And I was at this concert. It was at the Academy of Music in New York City, and it was a double bill with Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen and the New Riders of the Purple Sage in 1974, around Thanksgiving time, around November-ish. So they recorded it, and this was one of the nights I was there. School Days, Truck Driving Man, Kicking the Head, Groupie, She's No Angel, Sunday Susie, Dead Flowers by the Stones, which was the first song I learned to play on guitar. So I like this a lot. I don't know if at that New Riders show or another New Riders show I was, let's say my judgment was impaired. Yeah, I was herbally altered, and I got into an argument with one of my friends saying that Dave Nelson as a guitar player on his Telecaster was better than Eric Clapton. Yeah, I was altered. Okay, an album with a great story. We did that. An album you'd be surprised to see in your collection. All right, I'm a little embarrassed to show this, but I'm gonna go for it. I mean, when Dylan came up with this vinyl tag, he said, "Just go with your first gut. Don't think about it too much." So, yup, Barry Manilow, Barry, 1980. So I got gifted this picture of Barry with his puppy on the back. This is on Arista. So Clive Davis signed him. And yeah, I don't know too many of the songs from this. I did listen to it, and it wasn't too bad. The sidemen on it, I don't have it listed, but were quite good. Session people of the day, early 80s, very more pop than rock, but obviously the vocals are good. He's got a duet with Lily Tomlin on here. So if you know me, Grateful Dead, Allman Brothers, Bob Dylan, Little Feat, Byrds, Stones, Beatles, Roxy Music, Clash, Talking Heads, Kinks, The Who. I'm not a Barry Manilow guy, so. All right, moving right along. Cheap Heat. So this was a twofer. This is the Byrds, Fifth Dimension. It was in mono, so I'm really liking getting vinyls in mono and listening to them. I do want to upgrade my turntable, which is another video for another time. I'm working on that. But this is Cheap Heat because nice black and white pictures on the back, because it had a second vinyl in it of Younger Than Yesterday. So it had Fifth Dimension, and it had Younger Than Yesterday as well, also mono, with the Columbia 2 eyes, you can see. So I thought that was pretty good score there with those two. I've been collecting a lot of Byrds on vinyl, all different ones, and one is better than the other. A little connection to the new writer Skip Batten, who played on a couple of the later Untitled and Birdmaniacs that I have, went on after Dave Torbert died and took the bass role in the New Riders. And he's terrific, sings and plays bass. A 45 or alternate format. I am kind of embarrassed again to say I really only have one 45, and I don't even have an adapter for it. And that is Stevie Wonder from the Songs in the Key of Life, had a 45, and there's something extra for Songs in the Key of Life, Saturn and Ebony Eyes. So I got that, and All Day Sucker, and Easy Going Evening, My Mama's Call. So it's pretty cool. The 45 fits right into the jacket. Those of you that Songs in the Key of Life know this. Great album, 1976. Stevie played all the instruments on this pretty much. There's one or two sidemen, and it's just has a nice booklet. It's just awesome album. Sir Duke and Always, and what else? Love's in Need of Love Today. Just fantastic. As really good album. Okay, favorite music documentary or biopic. Everybody knows I am a big fan of the Grateful Dead. This is the Grateful Dead movie. Was recorded in 1974, got released in 1977, I think. And this is the Blu-ray copy. It's just great. I don't have to, those of you who've seen it know. It's not so much a biopic, it's more a music documentary of what at that time was their closing concert in 74 of October at the Winterland, which I got to go to in a couple years later in 77, right before, and it closed the next year in 78. And after the Fillmore West closed, Bill Graham was kind of took over the Fillmore West. So that's that Grateful Dead movie. Just outstanding U.S. blues. They were playing a lot of stuff from their first two albums on their own record label, Eyes of the World and U.S. Blues and stuff from that album, Scarlet Begonias. Okay, moving right along. I'll spend all my time talking about the Grateful Dead if I'm let. A box set. So this is a little bit old. I have a good story about this box set. And it is George Harrison's Concert for Bangladesh featuring Bob Dylan, Eric Clapton, Klaus Voormann played bass, Leon Russell was kind of the music director, Ringo Starr on drums, just an all-star. This is one of the first benefits, raising money for Bangladesh that was really hurting at that time. You had Ravi Shankar in the beginning. It's just an outstanding album. Jumpin' Jack Flash, Leon does that. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. I mean, between Dylan, Eric Clapton, and Leon Russell and George Harrison, you really can't go wrong. Something Just Like a Woman, Blowing in the Wind, Hard Rains, Wah Wah, My Sweet Lord. Really, really great live versions of those songs. I traded this album again back to some herbology back in the day. It's so funny, you know, weed is like legal now, and I don't smoke anymore, do any of that. That was back in the day, way back then. And I traded this for a knife that I still have, and I still have the box set. Yeah, it's a little worn, but still a good one. Okay, most trashed record in your collection. This was, I thought of a couple, but I'm gonna pick this one. This is David Bowie reading Peter and the Wolf with Tchaikovsky. It's really cool looking because it's on green vinyl. The problem is it's really, really scratched. I inherited this from a buddy. Thank you, Steve. And yeah, it's pretty torn up, and it's a little bizarre. I mean, I prefer Heroes and Ashes to Ashes and Hunky Dory and Let's Dance and all that. So David doing Peter and the Wolf with Tchaikovsky. And Eugene Ormandy and the Philadelphia Orchestra. Okay, a local album. I thought about this. Should I pick the band because they were up in Saugerties? That's not really local. I was going to pick Bruce Springsteen's Wildly Innocent because he recorded that over in Blauvelt, which is across the river from me. But I went with Mahavishnu Orchestra, Between Nothingness and Eternity. This was their third album live in '73 and was recorded in Central Park. So I don't live in New York City, but I did for many years. And I live about 35 miles north of New York City, so that's pretty local. John McLaughlin, Jan Hammer, Jerry Goodman, Rick Laird, and the great Billy Cobham. Really, really great live album. Very jazz fusion-y, very, as Dylan would say, almost psych. Almost jazz, rock, psych fusion. Okay, an album that is not from a faraway land. So I picked an album. I don't think it was recorded in a faraway land, but it comes from a faraway land. You can see the cover, and it says Japanese import. Oh, my phone's talking to me. Isn't that silly? It's Oscar Peterson and the modern jazz, whole modern jazz quartet, Milt Jackson with Oscar Peterson. And it's in Japanese. I was looking at the label. I don't know if you can see that, but the top is in Japanese and the bottom it says Made in Japan. So it is from another land, on Verve. Got some cool stuff. Hammerstein, Rodgers and Hammerstein, and a couple Milt Jackson, the work song by Nat Adderley. Okay, a soundtrack. This is a soundtrack that I bought, listened to, and saw the movie, and it's really fantastic. Urban Cowboy, the movie's great, the soundtrack's great. Jimmy Buffett, Charlie Daniels Band, Eagles. Those are the first three cuts. Dan Fogelberg, Mickey Gilley, who's great. It's shot in his club down in Texas outside of Houston. Johnny Lee, who's also great. Anne Murray, Bonnie Raitt, Linda Ronstadt, J.D. Souther, Kenny Rogers, Boz Scaggs, Bob Seger, and Joe Walsh. So you can't, there's not really a bad one on here. The great Irving Azoff, who everybody knows manages the Eagles, and directed by James Bridges. Really good movie. A lot of, mostly pictures of Travolta and Deborah Winger, but really good. I'm trying to think. I think these were recorded. Some of them were the album cuts, the studio cuts, but in the movie, like Charlie Daniels is live and Bonnie Raitt is live. I think mostly they were studio cuts though, but still it's great. Devil Went Down to Georgia, etc. Okay, an album. Your highest recommendation. I'm gonna pick Delaney and Bonnie and Friends. I love this album. I was turned on to this album in 1970 when I was a freshman in high school. When I listened to it, I just thought it was fantastic. It was, Eric was really getting away from the Cream powered pop. He was still doing blues, but he moved, and he loved, of course, American blues, but he added the country rock of Delaney and Bonnie and their powerhouse band behind him. I mean, what do you go after working, in Blind Faith and Cream and the Yardbirds and John Mayall? I mean, where do you really go? Let me read a couple of the people in this album, okay? Delaney Bramlett, rhythm guitar. Bonnie Bramlett, vocals. Eric Clapton, lead guitar. Dave Mason on guitar, who had just left Traffic. Carl Radle on bass and Jim Gordon on drums, who were the rhythm section for Delaney and Bonnie's band. Bobby Whitlock on piano, also from their band. Jim Price on trumpet and Bobby Keys on sax, who famously backed up a lot of people. Joe Cocker, most famously the Stones, and Tex Johnson on congas, and Rita Coolidge on vocals. So, and there's one more famous person on this album. There's a bunch of them in the back walking through the desert. I don't think these pictures were taken in England where it was recorded. I think this was taken out west. I don't think there's any place in England with hills like that and desert like that. But this Rolls Royce, I think it's a Rolls, and the feet hanging out of the Rolls. The Rolls, I believe, belong to what's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. He was in, and the Rolls was used in Easy Rider, the record producer out west that, I'm blanking on his name right now. But the feet, which is really what I wanted to talk about, are Bob Dylan. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Little Richard medley, Coming Home, which is great. They do Dave Mason's Only You Know and I Know, and I don't want to discuss it on the first side. Things Get Better. Bonnie does Where There's a Will, There's a Way. Oh, That's What My Man Is For is the ballad. It's just, it has a little of everything in it. It's a very, very good album. Okay. Something on the top of my want list. I have a couple there. Working Man's Dead would probably tie with this, but I picked the White Album. I've lost my White Album, and I have these Parlophone 1987 CDs, and I saw the Beatles guy. I'm having trouble. It's late at night, so I'm having trouble with the memory tonight. But he did a feature on the best sounding White Albums, and on CD, this came up close to the top, if not the top, and it does sound really, really good. So I'm lucky to have that, but I would love to get it on vinyl. All right, moving right along. A channel shout out. I'm going to shout out Tim from University of Vinyl, although there's great ones. Richie, Vinyl Richie, Audiophile Kenny. Kenny's Audiophile is fantastic. I love his stuff. Does the jazz. Dylan, of course, at Noble Records. Everybody knows him. Steve Westman and his Roundtable and all the albums he's kept up, and all the people in the VC. Chad, Michael 45, Mazzy. Is just a lot of people that are really terrific. And I wanted to give a shout out to Craig Danger because he had a video and he said a couple of things. He said, don't say anything nasty about anybody and be yourself. and always give shout out to other people. So Craig, I'm giving you a shout out. Craig Danger, he's really terrific. Great taste. Blues and soul, especially 60s, 70s, really one of my hot spots. In the wheelhouse, as they say. A silver lining in vinyl, I would say, since I've really gotten back into the vinyl collecting habit and become, a little bit obsessive and Discogs and all that, but I felt like it's brought me closer to people. That's a strange thing to say, I guess, but since most of us are on YouTube here, I hope to meet up with some people at some point. But I think we're building a nice community. We have a lot of shared experiences and passions and values at the end of the day. A lot of us play guitar. A lot of us have families, we have other jobs, and music has woven its way into our life in a very special and, dare I say, almost spiritual way. I don't know how many people feel that way. I know Kenny's Audiophile did a really nice piece on spiritual jazz, and I hope to expand on that in future videos. Okay, moving right along. Silver lining in vinyl, Steal of a Deal. Everybody knows this one, Donald Fagen's The Night Fly. I had this on CD for the longest time. I wanted it on vinyl. Got a nice, clean Warner pressing. I think I paid 10 bucks, maybe 15 bucks. It's not worth much more than that on Discogs, but I felt it was a really good deal. I think new, you'd probably pay close to 40, 50 bucks for it, for a new copy, and this is in really good shape. Really great album if you haven't heard it. I love Ruby Baby, I love IGY. I mean, there's not a bad cut on here. Walk Through the Raindrops, Green Dolphin Street. I've heard him do it with the Dan. I've heard it do him solo. He had a really good band a couple years ago. Came to the Capitol Theater. My friend Tony, shout out to him, was a really terrific guitar player, gave me free tickets, so that was excellent. And last but not least, a promo. I have Van Morrison, one of my favorite artists. Who doesn't like Van Morrison, right? And this is his live album, which I've always wanted to get. It's Too Late to Stop Now. And lo and behold, I got home, and it's as you can see from the hype sticker, a promo. And it's got the white labels. And it's pretty good. It's got a couple of dings and dents in it, but not too bad. No major skips, and just fantastic selection. I think he's got Warm Love on here. I heard the DJ talking about that was his co-host's wedding song. Gloria, Caravan, Cypress Avenue from Astral Weeks, and some more Ain't Nothing You Can Do, more bluesy type stuff. The band is great. He's got the horns. St. Dominic's previews on here. Listen to the Lion. It's Bring It On Home blues, as I said. Great. Van the Man. I think 1974, if I'm not mistaken. It's Too Late to Stop Now. From The Caravan is on its way. Domino. All right, so that's it for me for the summer vinyl tag. I'll be coming at you soon. Vinyl community, keep spinning, keep rocking. Thank you so much. Please like the channel, Doodad Dave's Records. Comment if you feel like it. Follow the channel, the whole deal. We would appreciate it. All right, and we'll have some more videos coming at you. Have a great one.